This is Grant Takes Command 2. We are playing Scenario 11, the 1864 Overland Campaign with the Shenandoah Valley included. We are now at the end of turn 11, May the 14th, 1864. We'll cover what's going on up north. At Spotsylvania, there's a huge amount of fighting going on around Spotsylvania Courthouse, where the Army of the Potomac and the Army of Northern Virginia are squaring off against each other. The Union managed to capture Spotsylvania Courthouse. The Union have taken a lot of casualties, but they've inflicted a fair amount on the Confederates. The idea that the Union could just force the Confederates out of defensive positions all the time didn't really work out. When the Confederates were really pushed into fighting at Spotsylvania, they've actually given as good as they've got. In fact, to a certain degree, they're holding up the Union now, and they're also going to be in a position to entrench a lot of their units. So it's going to be really difficult to get them out of here. I think the idea that this corps, 9th Corps here, is probably going to provide the key to unlocking this position, because they're already south of the Confederate flank there. There are Union cavalry units hovering around the flanks as well. The Confederates made a bit of an error in moving some units here, really, where they're more going to be more use over here, rather than they've been really in the wrong place there. In terms of other things that are going on, it's been a bit of a disaster for the Confederates. They've lost control of Louisa Courthouse. They've lost control of this King George's county seat. I think they lost Caroline last turn. As I say, they've lost Spotsylvania Courthouse. They've also lost Chesterfield Courthouse here, and they've lost the Petersburg Junction here as well. So all of these are going to really go against the Confederates when the victory points are totaled up. In terms of what's happening down south, the Union are pressing north against Confederate positions here in Chesterfield, south of Richmond. It's probably a good idea for the Confederacy just to abandon these positions and fall back into the Richmond fortified zone. In terms of Petersburg, the Union have pretty much fought the Confederacy to a standstill there. They've not really got the strength to capture Petersburg now, because a lot of reinforcements have arrived. In terms of stuff going over on the peninsula, the Union are free to move their cavalry. There's some cavalry over there. Right over there, there's some cavalry force which should be able to capture. There it is. Should be able to capture that Confederate New Kent strategic hex soon, which is all going to add to the problems that the Confederacy have got in terms of holding key positions. Down in the Shenandoah, it's pretty much a stalemate. You've got Union and Confederate forces pretty much squaring off around Harrisburg here. The problem the Union have got is they're out of supply in Rockingham County, and it makes it very difficult for them to fight. Well, they certainly can't fight at full strength unless they succeed in foraging, which their foraging attempts have been an absolute disaster the last 2 turns. So it might be a case of them retreating out of Rockingham, going north and falling back on the counties that can defend, like Shenandoah up here. Other forces that could intervene in the valley are these units over here, but they're special reinforcements, and if you start bringing Confederate reinforcements into the valley, it frees up Union troops. So that's not necessarily a good idea. So all in all, the Confederates are doing a lot better than expected at Spotsylvania, but the situation down south is far worse than it was historically. But I think if the Confederates retreat into Richmond, I don't think the Union are going to be able to make much more progress with all those ring forts, because they've got intrinsic artillery and defensive strengths. Valley, as I said, it's a bit in flux at the moment. The Union are a bit exposed strategically in the position they are there. So it's all to play for with 29 turns to go.